Well, tell me about your courting years.
Well, I think I chose John. He was the outstanding boy in the school. I thought he was. And so I remember, well, I guess I'll tell this, it's quite personal. But after church on Sunday nights, we used to walk up to town and back. And I had been going with another boy. But John came along this night. And I was going with him and walking up to town and then walk home after church. I don't know, I guess we had church on what we did on Sunday evening. Why? But anyway, this is what we always did. And as we were coming home, the other boy said, "You're my girl, why are you going with him?" And I said, "Well, listen, it's not that important." But he was really upset. And I says, "John, well, I'll go home with you, it doesn't matter." But from then on, I knew that John was the one I wanted to go with. And so I talked to my older brother, and he said, "Well, if you want a leader, you'll go with John Clarke." This other boy, he said, "He's a good enough kid," but he said, "John's the leader." So that's when I invited him to the Ottazel dance. And that was an important time, the first time. And then we worked in school, get to government together. He was the president of the school. He was important. And he was teaching the scouts. And he'd go past our place, I remember, and come back on Tuesday night, I think it was Tuesday night. And I'd wait for him to go by and see if he'd slow down as he went past. And we just gradually began to go together all the time. But I could have gone to normal school after the 11th grade, but I had appendicitis that summer, and so my mother thought it would be better if I didn't go up there with him anyway. So I didn't go till the next year, and he was in Calgary one year. That's loud. We should have stopped that clock. And then after we were together, I remember the year I was at normal school, I was so homesick I could hardly wait. And so at Thanksgiving time, I was able to get a ride home. Someone was going from Calgary to McGrath, and I got a ride down and as far as Lethbridge, and John was going to meet me there. And when we met then, we knew that was it. And at Christmas time, our friends, very close friends, were married. And we really didn't see how we could get married because John didn't have any money. His father died when he was young, and I hadn't taught school. He'd just taught part of a year, and so he said, "Well, we'll wait till I'd taught a whole year." But by June, when June came, my sister and her husband were going to Portland and asked us if we'd like to go with them. It's interesting to me that my mother said yes, and John's mother agreed that it would be fine for us to go. But by the time we got to Lethbridge, we decided we better get married before we got before we went. So we were married in Lethbridge that day, and went on our way to Portland. And then we were married on the 23rd of July in the temple. And had a big reception, and all of the family and relatives were there, and all the town. It was special.